What's up? What's up? What's up? Listen, will you dare to be different in a world full of copycats? Over the past 2 years, I've been pushing that message, and although that message may sound kind of cliche, I realized that when it came down to daring to be different, it was more important to dare to be different from the purpose in which you thought you were designed for, rather than being different in which society says you should be different for. And so I came down with this campaign, and when I started off with it, it was a little challenging because I was not walking in my purpose. I was taking and going through the motions of working a 9-to-5, and I had not truly figured out who it was that I was designed to be. And then I started to further study myself. I started to do self-examinations. Before you can even dare to be different in a world full of copycats, you must first evaluate yourself to see what it is that you need to change. The first thing that I really realized when it comes to daring to be different is that you must understand that you were created on purpose for a purpose. You're not just here by happenstance. God said, look, I needed you for the fulfillment of the assignment that I have for you at this present time. But if you're not operating in who it is that he called you to be, you'll find yourself being just like the other copycats. Dreamers that gave up on their dreams. Entrepreneurs that never established their business. Book writers that never picked up the pen to start writing. And great people that never believed in themselves. Secondly, you must find something worth living for. Oftentimes we go through the motions of the life and we just start going. We just start operating until we realize that we're really only existing and not living. And then we fill a void, or we continue to try new things but still have emptiness. And it's vitally important that we know what it is that we're living for. For me in particular, it was the fact that God had created me for something far greater than myself, far greater than something I could even put my hands on. And for that, the fact that Christ had to die for me, I was like, man, I can't go through life making mistakes. I can't go through life throwing it away. One of the biggest things that really happened in my life, my 13-year-old cousin passed away. He drowned. And at that moment, I was hit with something great. I was like, man, a car accident, an illness, I could have accepted. But the fact that he wound up dying to a drowning blew my mind. He went to, a campsite. He went with the Boy Scouts, and he was going to have a great adventure, but it was the last of his life. And at that moment, I realized I couldn't cry. I couldn't be upset if I continued to throw my life away. If I didn't take for granted what it is that I had, or better yet, if I didn't live the life that he no longer had to live. And then lastly, I realized that it's vitally important that we choose to live. Oftentimes we wake up and we say, hey, I'm going to do something great today. Or better yet, I'm going to change. And then we find ourselves going back in the repeated cycle. And instead of taking and making that change, we stay stagnant. We stay content. And we hinder the purpose in which we were created for. But the moment that we choose to live, the moment we say, hey, I'm not happy with the way that my life is, and I'm going to make the changes that's needed. Hey, I'm not satisfied with where I am right now, so I'm going to do what I have to do to get to where I need to be. Hey, I understand that it was too much that was invested for me to have greatness, that I'm not going to quit now. And the moment that we make that decision, the moment we say to ourselves, hey, I choose to live today, is the moment we can start daring to be different from who it is that we used to be and start walking in who it is that we are called to be. Like I said, I challenge you, dare to be different in a world full of copycats. While everybody else is more focused on followers and more focused on likes, how about you take and go straight to the streets or go straight to the nonprofits and start getting hands-on with people, start empowering the generation, start helping the youth, start being the light in the darkness for people. Dare to be different in a world full of copycats. Like I said, if this message touched you anyway, please be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and be sure to take and follow me on Periscope. There'll be more live streams to come. This was my first one, so if you can tell, I'm a little nervous and a little bit of hiccups. But hey, I thank you all that wind up joining me. Rob Mine 98, thank you so much for the praises. And there'll be more to come. 2015, there's too much technology, too much advancement for us not to be touching the world. And when we look out in social media, we see generations that is dying, generations that have false hopes, generations that's lacking role models. So I challenge you today, dare to be different in a world full of copycats. Start taking these opportunities, these platforms to make a difference rather than being just like the rest of the copycats. Grace and peace.